does 100 degrees feel like? Feels like that. Hey guys, as you can see from that previous clip, it's been hot as hell around here. It's been 95 to 100 degrees for the last week, and it's like 94 right now, and my plants are wilting. I just got through watering them. I've been putting off coming out here making a video on doing some lost foam casting since the last video. But I'm gonna give it a try today. It's hot enough as it is, and I still got to fire up this rusty old furnace here. So let me get set up, and we're going to try to do a little lost foam casting. We got it fired up. I hope I got enough gas. If not, we'll have to finish this another day. Just a word of advice. Don't use a tube that's hollow inside, or the heat will come out and get you. You can see here I'm using regular sand around the foam, and the reason for that is it's going to take a lot more sand. It's going to take a lot more media than Petrobond that I have, so I went and got some play sand, and hopefully it'll work out just fine. What I did was kind of wet it on top to keep it from sinking in, so hopefully that'll work. As soon as this gets melted, this is some old telescope stuff that I had. As soon as this gets melted, we'll pour it. That melt, then we'll pour it. Alright, we'll let that cool for about 10-15 minutes. We'll come back and demold it. Yeah, it's very hot. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's see how it turned out. Doesn't look like it turned out very well at all, does it? Dig at it and see. Yeah. It looks like these areas here where the sand kind of looks like it fell in, it's actually where I packed in the Petrobond, and for whatever reason the Petrobond was the problem. I don't know why I did that. Along here we didn't get enough sand in there. Plus you can see where the air bubble got caught right there. I mean, everything else turned out okay. Let me play with it and see what it looks like underneath. Nothing else, we'll just call it a day. Alright, there we have it. After a little bit of cleanup, you can see there was still some of the detail left underneath the sand where it fell in. That would have been a nostril for his nose. Those would have been his teeth and his cheekbone. I didn't have to grind those off, just that mountain of molten metal up here and here. A little bit right there. I think what happened was the foam, when it melted, created an air bubble that went down into the sand and allowed this to fill in with aluminum. Hence the big old air bubble and sprue. But yeah, I thought that part right there looked okay, but it wasn't, you know, very how you say, wasn't on target with what I was going for. I'm not going to keep this, but I wanted to see how it looked underneath. I was trying to sand. I packed these areas here with Petrobond, the red sand that I use, and I see that it held up. It actually burned out. Actually, all this was packed with Petrobond, and this part here must have fell out. But the sand itself didn't have any body to it. I'm trying to source some bentonite clay. Everybody says use kitty litter, use kitty litter. I did. Kitty litter is made from some other stuff, Farmer's something other. It's part bentonite clay, but it's part calcium and something else, and it's not 100% bentonite clay, so it doesn't want to stick together to make the mold, and then you have to wet it too much, and then you end up with bubbles in your mold, you know, real bad, like long hair and all that. But this is what I had made. I put a sprue on it. That's where that come from down there. And yeah, that's just too much, I guess. I think what I'll do is take the sprue off of this one. I'm just going to pack it into Petrobond like I normally do. And then when I flip it over to pack the back, I'll just add a sprue to it. I finally got a little wire foam cutter where I could cut these out. I did a little work with the wood burner around the eyes right here and here, and on the swords here, just to give it some detail. And these striations in the background, I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, I was hoping for a better turnout than this with the sand. I'll have enough gas to give it another try. I'd melt this down and give it another try with this one. Probably try that in a couple of days, make another video doing it, showing how I cast this one. But in the meantime, I'm going to remove that sprue. It's just glued on with some Elmer's, but I'm going to have to cut it off with the wire cutter. Let me show you this wire cutter over here. I built this thing. Now this is the funny thing, okay? This wire cutter here, you have to excuse the mess, I've been moving stuff around. But this wire cutter here, I made, let me put this down. Alright, let me zoom out. That's out as far as I go. Anyway, this is it. I made this where you can plug in a power supply here. And I have tried all kinds of laptop power supplies, and every one of them either burn up or they shut off. I bought a variable voltage transformer from eBay. It goes up to 22 volts, and it's like 3 amps. And whenever I plug it in here and cut it on, it cuts off. I can unplug it, works fine. Plug it back in, cuts off. So I don't know. I could take the power supply to the little one that I bought. I bought a little one for $25 with a power supply. I could take that little power supply, plug it in here, and this one will work fine. But I don't know why all these other American power supplies won't work, but they won't. But I'll show you this real quick. That's where you plug in the power, and then this is the deck where you do your cutting. And then this is the wire. This is actually picture frame wire. And then I hooked it to an eye bolt with a washer, and another washer, spring, and another washer, and a nut and a lock nut. That way this will keep tension on the wire. Then I run a wire down this down the back of this and into the back of this. And I'll show you underneath. It comes out right there, comes over to here, and I used these wires that I soldered onto the power plug. Ran one to the power plug and ran the other one to a screw where it goes to the cutting wire, and it works fine. That's from the soldering iron. I didn't set the house on fire, but yeah, I just been clearing off my back porch. That's why I got all this stuff out here. I'll take you in and show you the other wire cutter and let you see what it looks like. Hello, pretty birds. Okay, this is the other wire cutter. It's a little tiny thing. You have to excuse my foam mess I've been cutting. But yeah, this inner part here will actually come off like that. And you just plug it in right there. There's an on and off switch. You can use it like this for hands-free. This goes in like that. You have a cutting deck. And power supply for this thing, that's the name of it there. It's only $25 on eBay shipped, which is really cheap. And I spent more than that making that hunk of junk outside that didn't even work. But from what I understand, this is made in the USA. This is the transformer. This output doesn't say exactly what it is. I think it says 6 volts. But it's like half an amp going out. This 10 watts going in, 6 VAC coming out. You can see right there. And it's a Hongquang. Never heard of that. Anyway, that's what it uses. And I've tried all kinds of transformers. Literally, I've tried model trains. I tried all of them. They either have a protection in them that cuts them off whenever you plug it in, or they burn up. I even tried removing the circuit board in one to see if I can get it to work, and it burn up. So I think the voltage is set too high and the amps are too high, or one or the other, for those things. But this here, the little wire just hooks here, it goes down there, hooks in there. I'll pull this up real quick and you see it hooks into there. Y'all be quiet. And it has a screw on the bottom so that you can tighten it up. But if you want to take it loose, you can just press down on this here and it'll give you some slack so you can see it came loose on the bottom right there. And then you can just run it through a hole or something like that, but you still have to see how big that is, so you have to have a hole that size. But anyway, that's what I got. Okay, just to wrap things up, this is what I ended up with after I ground down all the extra overflow. I'm going to try again in a few days and see what we get. I'm trying to source some bentonite clay so we can make some green sand. I looked up the ratios. It's 100 pounds of sand to 12 pounds of bentonite clay. I'll probably end up doing that. I'm going to see how much 12 pounds of bentonite clay is going to cost me. Then you add, for 100 pounds, you add a gallon of water, which I'll probably just mix up half a batch to start with. But yeah, that's what we ended up with. So if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe, ring that bell, give me a thumbs up, and like I said, it's cooling off now. It's probably about 90 degrees. Plants are starting to perk up, and hopefully it'll stay cool. Won't be too hot. I heard them say it's going down into the low 90s over the weekend. So give me a thumbs up, guys. Have a great day.